Academy. This is the Lifestyle Business Owner Show, where we talk about the street smarts of small business. Your hosts are Aaron and Mayumi Moeller, owners of 8 companies that run without them, and founders of the LBO Academy. It's your turn to discover how you can own a business that runs without you. Now, here's Aaron and Mayumi.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Aaron Muller with the Lifestyle Business Owner Show, where we talk about the street smarts of small business. If you can't listen to this entire show, you can always go to lboradio.com. That's lboradio.com and get this episode and any other previous episode we've done. Our guest today is Mike Mercer. He's a Seattle native and a graduate of University of Washington. He brings over 25 years of experience in business development, entertainment, marketing, sales, and promotional advertising. He has most recently focused his talents in multiple spaces, including the cannabis business. This is why he's on the show. We think it's kind of cool. We got to talk about all that since we're from Seattle. He has ownership in Soulshine Cannabis, and his latest endeavor, it's Nava Pouch. We also have my co-host, Mayumi Muller. She's not only my business partner or my partner in life and all those other things, but she is an amazing woman. She helps me with all our companies and all our success and keeps me organized somewhat, and I keep her organized. But anyways, Mayumi, why don't you say hi?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. You know, you didn't say the part.
I don't know.
Like if
I wouldn't have the success I did if it wasn't for Mayumi Muller.
Yeah. God, I look forward to hearing that every week.
Very important.
I am so excited to have Mike Mercer. You know, we've known Mike for a while now, and you can't see him in the studio, but he's just like, again, it's kind of like our last guest we had last week, the Yelp gal. You know, Mike Mercer is that one type of person that he walks into a room and you just want to talk to him. He just exudes this positivity. He's not an energy drainer. So I'm excited to get started, talk about Mike, his background, cannabis. I mean, hey, we are the leaders, right?
Denver, or Colorado.
Oh, Colorado's first. Okay, darn it, but that's okay. Mike, thank you so much for being on the show this afternoon.
You bet, guys. Thanks for having me.
I know, I'm excited.
Thanks for that amazing intro, too.
Well, you're an amazing
nice.
person.
Man. We just think you're really cool, man.
You are cool. And he looks cool, too, so you have to check out the YouTube later on.
Yep. So, okay, let's start with, you were in the, we mostly knew you from the mortgage industry. Like that's where we kind of met you, like when you were doing mortgage deals. And so all of a sudden,
Throwing a lot of parties, too.
The promotional.
Oh, yeah, and that's true.
That's
You're
true.
very, we always were running in the
Yes.
circles, right? Because you did all these promotional parties, like charity events and all kinds of stuff. So we'd always, Mike Mercer, everybody knew Mike Mercer.
Yep.
Okay. So now you're in the cannabis industry. How did you go from all of that to the cannabis industry, and are you still in all that?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. I was in mortgage for, I think, almost about 18 years, and hated it. Just hated it. When I first got in the late, mid to late 90s, it was fun, it was exciting, it was challenging. You had to get creative to figure out sometimes how to get people, financed.
Oh, you were one of those creative guys, huh?
Yeah, I was a creative. That's what I did. I got into doing hard money lending, and it was a lot of fun, and you could make a good living, and then as the years went on, it just became more and more difficult to make what I thought was a good living, and I always hated the fact that every month you just had to start over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's like our business brokerage the same way.
It is.
Looking back, I think 18 years, if I would have started like in insurance,
yes,
I'd be on the golf course
build a
right now.
clientele.
Right on, dude.
Exactly.
So I didn't like that, but the key was I just wasn't having fun. I mean, I like hard work. I like challenges. I wasn't trying to avoid that. I like to embrace that, but it literally just wasn't fun. And I wanted to build something that eventually I could step away from, and income would continue to come in, and that wasn't that model. And
Absolutely.
I kind of saw that the mortgage industry, I think, in the next, we're in 2018 right now, I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 to 10 years, it's like the sales reps will just be gone.
Like the internet base.
It'll
Just
be
people just
all
push their
just
application
in
in and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time you called somebody for a travel agent, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we were just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, so I think the industry
Yeah.
it's gonna change a lot. But anyways, I had an opportunity in 2014 to finally get out. We were selling our company, and I had happened to actually throw a party called the Seafair Ball, which was a black tie fundraiser in
Awesome.
August.
That's where we met Bob and Nikki. We met a lot of amazing friends that we have today
from that.
From that
event.
party.
It was down at the Design Center.
Yep.
Right?
It was
cool.
awesome.
So that was like August of 2014, and a friend of mine who had been in mortgage banking with me, who actually left 10 years prior, had come to the event, and we just kind of got caught up, and he'd asked, how things were going. I mentioned that, our mortgage company was getting ready to be bought out, and he was like, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "I don't really know, but I'm gonna do something. I just need to get out." And he goes, "Do you know much about cannabis?" And I was like, "No, I don't really know anything." He goes, "Well, let's get together for coffee and let's catch up." So, fast forward a week later, we get together, and I thought he had always been traveling and doing real estate, which I think he was. He was doing those things too, but he was involved in the medical industry, right? So for growing for medical. So we kind of got caught up, and I just, I hadn't done cannabis really since college. I mean, maybe here and there. And to me, all I really knew about it was it makes you tired, it can make you hungry, and that's it. I mean, I didn't really know much else. So he basically said, look, he goes, I would love to open up. I think the laws are going to change, and they're going to start doing licenses for grows, and would you be interested? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And I said, I can do sales, I can do marketing, and it turns out, a lot of the store owners or general managers are people that I knew. Seattle's kind of a small,
it is.
small market, especially if you lived here your whole life like I have. So it became very easy for me on the sales and marketing side to do that. And we raised the capital and found the location, and I actually went to work in a garden and literally was watering plants for a year.
Wow, that's where you started out. Just to kind of learn what
from
goes into the whole process. I mean, what a way to do it, really.
So from when you met with him in 2014, when did it become legal in Washington?
I think it was in that. I'm not sure I remember the dates, but I think it was in 2014.
Okay, so
we got licensed. Yeah, because people had already started ahead of us. We got licensed in 2015.
I see. Okay.
So I think it was like 2013, 2014 is when it actually.
That's great.
Yeah. So he kind of knew, he was watching what was going on, and he knew that was going to happen. And
why did he need you?
Well, it's interesting. Yeah. So he wasn't able to really. To show income, right, for the years that he was in the medical market, because you weren't allowed to really run everything. Everybody kind of had to do everything under the table. So they kind of needed people that were able to show income and such. So
and marketing. I mean, if you're gonna want somebody to partner up with to share the product, right, and get the word out, it's gonna be Mike Mercer.
Yeah, he wasn't. Look, doing sales in the medical market didn't really take much back in those days.
Yeah.
Right. You had a product that everybody wanted. You sold them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I had access to I thought was a couple good investors that would be interested. So I think raising the money to put that kind of a deal together. So thank God we were able to do it relatively within like 6 months, and
that's great.
Wow, that's quick.
That's really quick.
Found the right investors, found the right building. We had finding a building back then was, well, even today would be hard too, but it's like a needle in a haystack because not only does the area geographically need to be licensed for doing a grow, you've got to find a landlord that is okay with it.
Right.
The landlord has to own the building free and clear. The landlord can't have any federal debts on the. So all these things,
there's
it makes it really a lot of
and then
criteria.
I know that with schools, right? It can't be close to schools, daycares, what have you.
I think back then it was like 1,000 feet.
But a grow center would be easier to deal with that because it's more of a warehouse type.
It's going to be more remote.
Right.
Retail.
So we.
Do you have a retail store?
We don't. Yeah.
No, okay.
In Washington they don't. It's called vertical integration. They don't allow that in Washington.
Yeah.
So
you can't own a brewery and own a bar. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, same kind of
deal. So it's kind of same deal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although it's interesting though, in a brewery, right? You can have people can come to the brewery and drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But which is really cool. But you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. I know.
So so we it was just one of those things where we just kept having to we kept banging our head against the wall, and we eventually finally found a building down in Soto, which it was about 15,000 square feet, and we were really excited.
Soto was like downtown Seattle, more like a little more industrial Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of an up and coming area.
It's a beautiful area.
Live and work there, and I remember telling the investors like, hey, we got the space. We're gonna, we were supposed to close on it like on January 2nd or 3rd, right after the New Year.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a call from the landlord like a day or two before we were supposed to sign. And he said that he had decided to pull out of the deal and he was going to put his own grow.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
And
no.
so we were like, just
Dirty dog.
oh my God, after all this time and
What?
energy and like 6 months of working on this and putting this together. So that, but like, hey, things work out, right? For a
Wow.
reason. I got a phone call from our real estate agent like 2 weeks later. He goes, hey, Mike, look, I found another building. It's a little bit bigger than what you're looking for. And it's down in Renton, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll go check it out. I'm like, how much bigger is it? He goes, well, it's, 50,000 square feet. I was like, what?
From 15 to 50?
I said, you said 5,000 square feet bigger? He goes, no, it's 50,000 square feet. So we went down there, we took a look at it, and it's funny, I walked in and I'm like, God, I know I'd been here before, and it used to be a skateboard. It was like the largest indoor skateboard park. It was called Skate Bar back in the day, yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, they, the tenant in there had been in there for about a year or two. It had been something else after the skateboard park, and we walked in, I saw the space, and I was like, I know this is going to be perfect, and
It's great.
we were able to put the deal together pretty quickly. It penciled out. The landlord ended up being just an amazing guy, and it was a home run for us. We would have actually completely outgrown.
Right.
We were going to be what's called a tier 2 license. There's 3 tiers. There's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 3 is the largest. So you can have 30,000 square feet of open canopy space, or a little bit more now. They're a little more neon. And so it was a great space for us to grow in, and that's kind of what started it. And then, when I started doing the sales and the marketing and the branding and all that kind of stuff, it was really fun because although I didn't know as much about cannabis as a lot of the other guys that were out there and gals that were doing it, I knew sales.
Right.
I knew how to like pick up the phone and like, call somebody until they called me back.
Yeah.
Or keep emailing them until they and show up on time and come to a meeting with like an agenda and have something.
Absolutely.
And so that was what kind of made me, I think, stand out.
Nice.
Different than the rest. And at that time, our prices, we were definitely on the higher end, and
Right.
We were still trying to figure out our packaging and make it work.
Their packaging is amazing,
Yeah.
guys. If you
So
are,
how's that business doing right now?
It's good. I mean, we're doing really good.
do you have employees?
We do. When I was there, and I'm actually and I can speak about this now. I mean, it's not public, but yeah, I'm actually looking to hopefully, we're working on getting. I'm going to sell my shares and.
Well,
and
you
get
know
out.
what?
Yeah.
There's more to talk about. Today we're talking with Mike Mercer. He's an owner of several businesses in the cannabis space and has years of experience in marketing and bringing a product to market. We're going to talk about his new venture, NavaPouch.com. That's how you can get a hold of them. Follow us on the Lifestyle Business Owner Show anytime, anywhere on Facebook and Instagram, and also anytime on lboradio.com.
We'll be back with more of the lifestyle.
So yeah, we'll talk a lot
So
about
now we're talking about Nava Pouch.
No.
Did I say Nova? I did. Nava Pouch.
Yes, let me say it now. Sorry.
Nava Natural Vape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah.
I like it. Okay, hold on.
So yeah, what we'll do?
Didn't it go fast?
Yeah.
That's
Like I want to talk about employees and stuff, but
what we're gonna do? So we'll go away from that since you.
no, we're gonna talk about Nava.
So Nava, but what I want to do before we get into Nava, we'll kind of talk about it a little bit in the very beginning, but then we'll talk about like, we're gonna ask you some advice. We're gonna ask you advice, like for the people audience that are thinking about leaving their jobs and becoming an entrepreneur. Like we're gonna ask that question, kind of like how do you feel about
the transition from
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because
a
that was
career that
probably
you were
hard for
doing
you and
for
stuff
so
like
long.
18
and
years,
just-
yeah.
that.
Because that's the fear. A lot of people do have that fear, which is why they're wanting to be a business owner is just a dream,
Yeah.
right?
All right, so just pay attention that if it stops recording, we got to start it again.
Okay. Well, how do you know if it's recording? Oh,
I see it
the
beeping. I see
it.
the little red thing.
Okay. Nava. But Nava.
It's like,
It pays to listen. Now, back to Aaron and Mayumi Muller on the Lifestyle Business Owner Show.
Welcome back to the Lifestyle Business Owner Show, where we talk about the street smarts of small business. This afternoon, we are talking with Mike Mercer. He is an owner of several businesses in the cannabis space and has years of experience in marketing and bringing a product to market. We in this segment are going to talk about his new venture, Nava Pouch. I'm excited. It's a abbreviation for natural vapor. And when we last left off, we talked about his business in regards to Soulshine. And I wanted to know about the employees.
Did you mention that he's in the cannabis business? I didn't hear
did.
it. I didn't hear it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was daydreaming there for a second.
This is what happens when you get a little bit older.
Mike brought a little something into the studio before.
He's the fumes. The fumes are exuding from Mike's body. I did mention cannabis.
Okay.
So, honey, what do you want to talk about? Because my brain, I have so many questions.
No, yeah, that's fine. You know, I just want to go back a little before we get into your new product, which is totally cool. I love it and all.
Awesome.
But I want to find out. You know, you went from this other industry. You were in the mortgage industry before, and
for 18 years,
doing
right?
a lot of different things like promotions. For parties and stuff like that. And I don't know if that was just kind of a fun thing or you made a lot of money doing it. I'm not sure if it was kind of a little bit of, the goal was to make a little bit of money but have a lot of fun kind of thing.
I think he made money off of it.
Yeah, but sometimes those things can break even or whatever, but they're just a lot of fun too, right?
Yeah,
so.
I did. Oh, I did. I mean, that whole piece started. I mean, that's what I did before I got into the mortgage industry.
Cool.
So from the time I was like 21 till 26.
Did you do raves and stuff?
I'm
serious.
Yeah, we threw a couple. I mean, I could talk for a whole hour about how I got into the nightclub business.
Well, I had friends that did all the rave stuff when I was in high school and all. But.
Yeah, but I mean, back, so in my early 20s, that was my job. I mean, that's what I did. I mean, there'd be times when...
That's cool.
And back in the day, it was more like, there was more parties like that and events. I feel like it's harder these days to get people,
now
everyone's so busy.
When the economy gets
together.
Better, people stop going out.
Yeah.
And you notice that, like, networking groups are smaller now and everything because everyone's busy, right? Nobody's like, I don't want to waste my time with that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to find out was, we want to talk, about like
transition.
The process of when you left this, pretty secure job. You've been doing it for so long as a mortgage broker, and you went into something else. Talk to the audience a little bit about how that felt, and maybe give them some confidence if they ever want to become a business owner themselves. That what it was like for you and how you overcame those fears.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great question. I think what I was going through at that time was I was so just burnt out that I mean, look, I think you gotta rely on your get very clear on what your gifts and your skill sets are, right?
Absolutely.
Because each of us as humans have a different set of skill sets than the next person, or gifts or skill sets, whatever you want to call them. So I just knew that even though I wasn't very familiar with this particular product or the industry at the time, I knew what my skill sets were.
Right. Yeah.
So I knew that I would be fine, and I could do well if I just focused on doing what I've always done, even though it's just a different industry. So my advice to people would be just get very clear on what it is that you are good at and what you enjoy doing, and see if there's a way to apply that to something else, which in my case it worked out that way. So
right.
And I spent my time at Soulshine is coming to an end. I'm looking to it's not like it's any sort of private information, but I'm looking to I'll eventually be bought out here, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then and I've started my other project, and I think Soulshine is still doing really, really well, and my partners and investors and all the employees and the brand it's an amazing brand. It's going to continually grow. It's just that I kind of came to the point where I had done as much as I could do, and under that, it was time for me to move on. And
next chapter.
Well, that's good. So now we can start
now
talking
we can
about
talk about Nava Pouch.
Yeah.
Tell us.
So basically, this goes back to when I got into the industry. I was like, look, if I'm going to go out and start selling this product, I can't be a hypocrite. I got to use it. I can't sell something that I don't use.
Well,
right?
yeah.
So what's happening now?
Is there a rap song about not using your product or something like that?
I have to be able to. I had to be able to have conversations and be able to honestly say this is what I like, this is what I don't like, right? So in my search and now that it's legal in Washington and becoming legal all over the country, I think you're seeing this influx of people who maybe have gotten away from using it. The last time they used it might have been college, and now they're looking for I want to get back into it. I'm curious, what do I do, right?
Right.
So
true.
So I of course, whether it was smoking a joint or smoking out of my favorite little $10 wooden pipe, that's how I would smoke.
Right.
And as I started to explore all the different products that are out there, whether it's oils or tinctures or edibles or whatever it is, I just started to realize what works for my body and what doesn't, right? For me personally, I really liked smoking just the natural plant, right? But doing that usually meant either you're smoking a joint or a pipe, and it's kind of got that old kind of stigma to it.
Yes.
It's not very discreet,
Yeah.
and it does stink. So, you know, my girlfriend at the time, she would just look at me and just shake her head like, what are you doing? That stinks, that smells, I don't even want to watch you do it. So I started to look for things like, you know, oil pens and vaporizers and stuff. And a buddy of mine who owned a store up in Capitol Hill called Ponder, he said, Mike, look, I got this herbal vaporizer coming in. You should just buy one and check it out. So I went in, I dropped a couple $100s on this thing, and you know, you have to, you know, you grind your weed and you put it in, and I liked the fact that it was health. It was like the healthiest way to smoke because there's no combustion, right?
Yeah.
It's just a vapor mist. But it was a real pain in the ass to clean out the oven and to carry around a bunch of loose weed.
Yes.
And I used it like 3 times and I threw it in my drawer. I never used it again, right? So I went back to like smoking joints, and again, my girlfriend shaking her head. And look, you can't just get up out of a bar, walk outside and go fire up a joint. You just can't, right?
No.
Causes a lot of attention and smell. I'd walk back into the bar and I knew I smelled like smoke.
Yep.
So the oil pens I tried, they're great. They're very discreet. But the high on it for me was it made me really lethargic.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. And I just didn't like it.
And a lot of people have problems with their lungs.
Yeah, a lot of
those
people.
vape
You were
pens,
saying
right?
what it.
Yeah.
They get
And there's
that
going to
lung
be,
thing.
you know, look, there's going to be a lot of regulation down the road that will come out. It's too soon to tell,
It
but
is.
they're already starting to see that there's some potential not necessarily healthy things about doing oil, but I won't really get into that. But you know, about a year and a half ago, I was introduced to some people and some friends, and they showed me this little idea for like this a pouch, you know, and when
like a cold bandit pouch kind of thing.
It's like a skull band. It's like a skull.
Like skull. I say cold. Right?
It does look like that.
Yeah, so he kind of threw this like skull bandit looking thing on the table, and I looked at it, and I immediately knew what it was, and I immediately was like,
you're like,
unbelievable. Like the light bulb went off, and I was like, oh wow. I go, that's basically for a vaporizer, an herbal vapor. And they go, yeah. So we worked together, and we tried to figure out a way to potentially bring it into market here in Seattle. I went into stores and spent, you know, a week at a time at stores. And what I've quickly realized that, you know, is that if the customer doesn't know what it is, they're not going to ask for it in the store.
Yep.
And the retail stores in Washington, I'm sure this is like this everywhere. If your product doesn't move within 30 days, you're off the shelf. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
I could see that.
Unless I was in that store, like literally
promoting
talking to customers
about it,
it wouldn't move, right? And I know, because once I left the store, they called me and said sales dropped again. So what I started thinking about was like, okay, look, how do I go out and create an awareness and create the behavior and educate people, and build the brand up that way, and then drive consumers into stores if they want to buy it. And I started to realize, and this is kind of where some of the guys I was working with before, we kind of parted ways, because I was like, you know what, let's build it and offer it with no product in it. And they're like, what are you talking about, no product? I'm like, well, look, if we sell the vaporizer, if we sell the pouch, and we give people the tools where they can just make their own pouches.
And use their own product,
and use their own product,
strain or what have you.
We can sell it online anywhere in North America, right? And across the world, right? So that's where I've been spending the majority of my time over the last 6-7 months, is really trying to figure out how to put that together and launch that.
Right.
And we'll be launching, hopefully at the end of this month. So we'll
that's
just call that
awesome.
August. Beginning of August, we'll have it ready to go, and that's kind of the goal, is to build that up online. And then the second part of the phase would then come into different states and do licensing deals with producer processors. Where we can give them the machine, we can license them the machine, they can make their own pouches, put their own product in it, and they can sell it, and every single time it sells, we'll
And I've seen the product. I mean, it's pretty handy. It's handy, it's little, it doesn't really smell. I mean, it's gonna be great, you guys. I think that you're gonna really like it. And I like the fact that either you can put your own strain in, right? Or when you start educating your distributors, right, your retail distributors, they can actually create their own concoction, right, and then sell them in a packaged form like that.
People will have a choice. Yeah, people have a choice. It's just no different than Keurig or K-Cups, right?
Yeah.
I can go to the store, I can buy the K-Cup, or I can buy my own coffee.
So we're going to be able to get it at Costco?
Yeah, I wish someday, right? Someday. So
it's a great idea. I mean, it's going to be awesome if you, the people that are out there that want to try
Yeah, I think so.
cannabis.
I think that's going to be. I think it'll be a hit. It's just a matter of getting it out there, right? It's bringing any product to market. It's always difficult, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
branding it
and making it, known out there, and it takes time and patience. And so, you're obviously very good at it. And how do you have that patience? Like what do you do mentally just to kind of give yourself the patience?
Patience that's been something
patience
I've had to,
is a virtue, right?
It's not something I've been ever very good at, and I've really had to. It's funny how life just kind of gives you the lesson you need to learn the most, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So yeah, I've really had to endure a lot of patience, to be honest with you, over the last 3 years, to get to this, to get to where I'm at now. But it was a lot of.
What do you tell yourself?
How do you motivate yourself? Because it is a process, right? What you're doing, because you're essentially having a new product, you have to brand it, you have to get it out there. How do you motivate yourself on a daily, weekly basis to say, like, you know what? I'm throwing in a towel. I'm going to stay with this venture, or I'm going to grind with this.
Yeah, I think that there's like two words I always like play with. One is like a belief, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other is like knowing. And I always think that knowing is stronger than a belief. Because you can believe something, but to know something, to me, it sounds like it's more concrete.
Right.
Right? And I just know, like, this product is going to be, it's going to be a home run, right? It's
because there's a need for it. You don't see that, there's nothing out there like that.
I see a gap.
Yeah,
right? I see an opportunity, and I see where the market's going, and I'm super grateful, and I think everybody in Washington or any state that's currently legal right now, we're grateful because we get to play in an industry where not everybody else gets to play in it.
That's great. So, you know what? You can go, and thank you so much, Mike, for being on the show this afternoon. NavaPouch.com, Nava Pouch, NAVAPOUCH.com. That's how you get a hold of him. Here at the Lifestyle Business Owner Academy, we're not rendering financial or legal advice. We're not telling you what you should or shouldn't do with your business. We are just telling you simply what we do. When we come back, we're going to start our LBO segment. This is where you guys can get an opportunity to know how to buy a business, grow profits, and make it run without you. Make sure you guys follow us on the Lifestyle Business Owner Show anytime, anywhere on Facebook and IG. And of course, go to lboradio.com and listen to our radio podcast anytime, any place. lboradio.com. Thank you, Mike Mercer, for being on the show this afternoon. NavaPouch.com.
Business Owner Show continues after this on AM 1580. The Answer.
There we go.
All right.
Ready?
I'm ready.
You're listening to Lifestyle Business Radio. When it comes to success in life and business, it matters who you take advice from. So let's get better acquainted with one of the hosts, Mayumi Moeller. Mayumi is the quintessential cosmopolitan success story. Born in Japan and raised in the United States, Mayumi's Japanese and African American heritage has helped her learn how to connect with people from highly diverse cultures and backgrounds. Following her coursework at the University of Washington, Mayumi pursued a career in modeling, working professionally in major metropolitan areas throughout the United States and Europe. During this time, Mayumi cultivated an elegance, charm, and winning attitude that crowned her Mrs. Washington State in 1995 and landed her less than 5 places away from achieving Mrs. America. Since that time, Mayumi has raised 5 amazing children while attaining to the highest levels of success in every field she's entered. A President's Award-winning real estate agent for John L. Scott for 10 years, the top sales rep of a Fortune 500 company, owner of 8 multi-million-dollar businesses, and the world's #1 trainer in self-running business ownership. Learn the secrets to success in life and business from this amazing woman at the Lifestyle Business Owner Academy website, lboacademy.com. That's lboacademy.com. Why build a business when you can build a lifestyle?
Why build a business when you can build a lifestyle? Well, I like hearing all that stuff about me. I've actually done a lot in my day, in my short 50 years of life. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, folks, I'm 50. I've been around the block a few times.
She looks like an old woman.
I'm an old woman. I'm like our dog, Nugs. She's going to be 16 in September. I feel her pain. But you know what? Age is just a number, so life begins at 50, Oprah says.
I guess so.
That's what she says. You guys, Lifestyle Business Owner Academy is up and running, y'all. You know what? This is the best time to get into becoming a small business owner. So Go to lifestylebusinessowner.com. If you are interested in joining the Academy, please, I recommend it. If not, get our free videos that we send you by going onto the website and checking out our free videos. Also, the book, if you want to start with the Lifestyle Business Owner book written by my wonderful husband, is on Kindle, and you can get it at Barnes and Noble. And
well, we got some good stuff, so we need to get to
all right,
the point
let's
here,
get
girl.
to some stuff about
the LBO Academy, so
yep.
or not the LBO Academy, but what LBO stands for. It's the Lifestyle Business Owner, right? And
Yep.
so basically, this is where we talk about things to enhance your business, because we're trying to teach people to be better business owners out there.
Or if you're wanting to get into a business, how to get into business and what you can expect.
Yep, exactly. So today I thought it would be a good show to talk about selling on Amazon. You know, it's such a big platform these days, and it's becoming bigger and bigger. We just had Prime Day recently.
Prime Day. It was all over world news and everything.
It's just bigger than ever, and there's more people making tons of money on Amazon out there than probably ever before. Like and they're not even like they weren't business owners before, right? So there's ways you can get into this business of selling on Amazon, and I want to kind of talk about what it takes things to know to do it, because we actually have a product ourselves. It's called the Chom Chom Roller. We call it the world's best pet hair remover, and it truly is. It truly is,
y'all.
We have about 1,800 reviews and almost a 5-star. So, anyways.
Yep. And if you have a cat, dog, pet, go to Chom Chom Roller and get one today.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right. So here's the deal: it's really not as easy as it looks, though, right? You think you just put a product on Amazon and it's going to sell and be great, right? I mean, but the sad thing is it's just not. And so one thing you need to do is you need to make sure you're finding a product that's unique, because there could be 100 people selling the same thing you're selling. So what does that do to margins? It brings them down to almost nothing, right? And then you start dealing with like counterfeiters and things like that Amazon has a problem with on their platform. So they're working on getting rid of some of that stuff. But anyways, finding a really good product is going to be key, and something that's somewhat unique that not everybody's going to find, or somehow you market it differently or whatever. Then you want to make sure that you set up your page and so it's optimized, right? So it's just setting it up right is important. And so make sure you do a lot of research, making sure that you do all the right things, get the right pictures on it, right? I mean, remember when we had old pictures and our sales were just mediocre, and all of a sudden we went in and we paid some money and had some really good quality.
We had professional pictures.
And then our sales went up, right? So
literally, you guys, taking the professional pictures increased our sales volume.
Yeah,
like
huge.
It just was huge.
Huge. And the other thing was that you're going to have to kind of determine what you want to do is, do you want to ship this stuff out yourself? And when somebody orders it, do you do all the shipping and everything and doing it under the guidelines of Amazon, or do you send all of your product into Amazon itself? And those are the things that you're going to have to decide what you want to do. Yep. One takes maybe more inventory than the other, and it costs more money by shipping it all in and having it all fulfilled by Amazon. It's called FBA. And so just kind of keep in mind that those are the challenges that you're going to have, that you're going to navigate through. So do a lot of research when it comes to all of this. But on the other hand, it is a really easy platform, right? I mean, it's a really easy place to make some good money if you have some of these things in line, right?
Because people trust Amazon.
They trust Amazon. Amazon. I mean, I will sit there and my product is highly desirable, and I'm selling lots and lots and lots of these things on Amazon every day. But I try to do some marketing stuff to my website, and I get like a couple sales, right? And it's because people are switching, they're switching to that, buy from some random e-commerce site to, I just want to buy everything on Amazon. I know I feel safe.
My credit card's already in there. I know that if I'm dissatisfied with the product, they're going to send me return labels, so they make it convenient for the customer as well.
So you're kind of you're setting yourself up to be kind of held hostage a little bit through Amazon, but the payout is pretty good if you got good volume, right? And the cool thing about it is they have reporting by the hour. I mean, you can sit there and, I mean, it's fun all day long just looking to see how many
and
sales
my
there.
husband
I can't
does.
stop.
He
It's like,
can't stop.
yeah, it's like looking at like,
He's like, babe, I sold 150 today.
Yeah.
Oh, I sold da-da-da, you know.
Yeah. So that stuff's really cool and really easy to work with. It's got, easy to print, shipping labels in the system so that you can just do things really simply. They pretty much do all that work for you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I say, it's
stuff.
difficult in one aspect, but then in the other aspect, it's really, really simple, and you can make it more complicated in other ways too. But we won't go into that because that's a whole other show. All right. The other thing is be prepared to strike out about 90% of the time when you're putting products out there, because going back to finding a unique product.
Right.
You are going to go into this thing thinking you're going to sell a bunch of stuff. Let's say you send it into Amazon. Stuff just sits on the racks over there at Amazon, and then they charge you money because it's sitting there. They're holding it for you, and so what you got to understand is nobody knows your product's out there. So then you're gonna have to do some advertising, Amazon advertising, or outside advertising, like on Facebook or something that keeps pushing everybody over to your product. And that's what's really, really important, is getting those people to know that it's on Amazon, because the more people that will actually see that product on Amazon and go to it, and then they'll be reminded to buy it, but then also it'll start raising the rankings of it, because more people are seeing it and going to it. So it starts to become a little bit more of a popular thing for the consumer, and so Amazon wants to push that up.
It moves it up more towards the top, because you've probably gone to Amazon and looked at like kitchen stuff, right? And if you're very vague on it, I mean, you could be going through 5,000 kitchen items, so you don't want to do that. This way it pushes you up towards the top.
No, you'll be lost.
You will be lost.
The other thing is, make sure you have a good amount of capital when you go into this thing, because even though you're selling e-commerce, really the right way of doing this is not through drop shipments. Drop shipments are a system of somebody else actual inventory, and so inventory is really going to be key for being successful on it. But you're going to need to buy a huge shipment a lot of times from somewhere like China or whatever, and because it's so expensive to do that, you need to buy like 1,000+ units and then pay a good amount of money on the shipping. It depends on how many units or whatever you're buying, but I mean a container load could be several $1,000s, right? And then you got to have a storage facility. So it can get really expensive. So make sure that you are capitalized on this deal and don't feel like that you don't need any money to do it, because and then the other part is you might strike out a few times, right? You might bring in some product and it doesn't do anything, then you need to liquidate it,
right? So
you need to have money for doing that. The other thing,
I mean, there's a thing, it takes money to make money, so
it does.
You have to put a little money in.
There's no cheap business, right?
There isn't.
The other thing, Amazon is very basically they take a huge part of your profits. So if you do not have enough profit built into that item, it's probably not going to be a great item to sell on Amazon, because they're going to take 30 to 40% off the top of that sale. And that hurts. And if there's not a lot of margins there, and then all of a sudden you got a bunch of competition coming in, bringing it down, you're not making any money.
Right.
Now you're just turning dollars. So keep that in mind for sure. And I always say, don't even try to sell things under $10 if you can avoid it. Like, I mean, unless it's something with a really, really high margin, it costs you 50 cents, you sell for $8 or something. I mean, that's great. You can do that. But like, if you're trying to sell something, they have some pretty, high fees selling on Amazon. So you're just not going to end up making money. So if you can have an item like, and it's not in the electronic business, it sells for around $25, all of a sudden you have a product that potentially could be really great, because, you can handle the fees, you're making some profit on it, and it's going to move. You're going to move some serious volume on Amazon, because it'll get in the front of way more people than you ever will on any kind of advertising you ultimately do. Do we have any more time?
Yeah, a minute.
All right, so let's see. Oh yeah, I was saying about technology. Like the problem with technology, you got China that's just basically dominating all of that, and you really, you just are going to be in a situation where it's a no-win, and you try to make sure your product's trademarked and make sure that you or it's patented and that you own the rights to that brand and everything, so Amazon can protect you. There's a thing called transparency that's been coming out. We're part of it in our product, and it's been huge. It's everything. It's been a savior because it got rid of all the counterfeiters in China.
Absolutely. You know what? Stay tuned for the Ask. Thank you so much, Aaron. Stay tuned for the Ask Aaron and Mayumi segment. This is where people across the world write into us and ask us about the street smarts of small business. If you've missed any of our show today, or you'd like to listen to any previous shows, go to lboradio.com, and you can always follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Lifestyle Business Owner Show coming up on
Somebody
AM
called
1590.
in on the phone. I told you, did you have to start it over again?
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't have to stop it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. That was good. It got me sidetracked.
Yeah, I thought so.
Sorry, rambling.
Because why does that whole
What'd you
screen
say?
stays on? What, Gav?
I accidentally messed up at one point.
I didn't hear you mess up. I didn't see no mess ups.
How did you mess up, man?
Well, I said 30 when it hit 30 minutes.
Oh.
I was supposed to say 30 when it hit 40.
Well, good thing
Oh,
you didn't mess
well,
up with me. You can mess up with her, not me.
You know what? I didn't even notice, and it worked out just fine. So, no stress, right? Turned out great. Did I sound perfect?
Yep.
Okay, well, then that's all that matters, right? Okay, so Gavin, our 9-year-old, is working the sound booth right now, making sure everything sounds good.
He's rocking, dude. He's
Yep,
rocking
he
it.
is rocking. Okay, we ready for questions?
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Okay.
What's that? Oh, he's here? Oh.
Oh, we're almost done.
Can you have him go in the green room? We just got to finish this one quick little
Yeah,
episode.
of course.
And then...
I had no idea you were here, so I'm like, I need to go.
Oh,
yeah.
Been here.
Cool.
I'll
Thank
just,
you.
I'll take
Thank
a minute.
you.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, let's rock and roll. Okay, you can just start.
You're listening to Lifestyle Business Radio. When it comes to success in life and business, it matters who you take advice from. So let's get better acquainted with one of the hosts, Aaron Muller. As a child, Aaron developed an interest in small business ownership from his family's marina on San Juan Island. From the start, Aaron was driven to seek out business opportunities and attain entrepreneurial success. His very first business venture was catching and selling shrimp at the docks when he was only 10 years old. While his peers were preparing to enter 7th grade, Aaron opened a bumper boat rental company, catering to San Juan's ample tourist traffic. Aaron's first real job came in high school, but by the time he graduated, he'd earned enough to purchase half the company. Over the past 30 years, Aaron has gone on to start or buy over 20 companies in the Pacific Northwest, and now owns 8 multi-million-dollar businesses. Aaron is the world's premier trainer in self-running business ownership and author of the Lifestyle Business Owner book, which lays out the principles for making a 6-figure income by working as little as 5 hours a week. Learn how to achieve your goals from this phenomenal business mind at the Lifestyle Business Owner Academy website, where you learn all kinds of amazing business knowledge. Visit lboacademy.com and take your life in an extraordinary new direction. That's lboacademy.com. Why build a business when you can build a lifestyle?
There you go. Let's do it.
There you go. You guys, I'm just going to do shout out. LBO Academy,
Yep.
Lifestyle Business Owner book. There's no excuses. We have taken away every one of your excuses to not follow your dreams. If you have a dream of ever buying a business, owning a business, being an entrepreneur, guess what? We are going to hand you the tools
Make
necessary.
it easy for you.
Easy,
You just gotta
turnkey.
do it.
Gotta
Got
do
all the
it.
answers.
Just do it. Okay.
Don't be one of those people that just wants all the answers and don't do it.
Or just one of those dreamers that
Yeah.
dream and write in their
True.
journal and then they never put action to
life's
it.
short.
Life's too short and you're going to blink and you're
Try
going to
it
be
out.
100 years old.
Worst case, you got to go back to doing what you're doing right now.
Absolutely. That's not a worst case. That's like
That'd
whatever.
be worst case. Who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
who
okay,
cares?
it didn't work out. Go do something else.
Exactly. All right. So Anna in Toronto, from Toronto, Canada. Favorite way to follow us is YouTube. As Warren Buffett says, you should be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. I do like that saying.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we are due for a recession soon. Is it better to buy a business now when the market is at the top, or is it better to wait until the recession comes and buy a business during the recession because I can get a good company for a cheaper price?
Personally, I don't really feel like, you need to wait because first off, you know, if you get a good deal on it, that means things are hurting a little bit in that business. So it's going to be that much harder for you to adjust it because you don't know the business now. You got to go into it and try to build it back up and whatever, you know, maybe somebody's really rocking right now, right? And then you can go in there and figure out what they're not doing and get it going even better.
Right.
So why would you wait until it does bad and then the momentum's gone, right? So the momentum's good right now. Buy that business. Who cares? You're gonna pay what it's worth. Right. So you pay what a business is worth. Period.
It's not like buying a house.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take advantage of the real estate market that way. You know, but like in business opportunities, I definitely say get it now. And then get it while the momentum's good.
Yeah.
And if you have to pay a little bit for it, it's okay because the business just isn't worth that much if it's at a point where it's going down, but it's not going to bring you a lot either.
Right. And it's making money now, so
yeah. And then also what I would do,
money.
but also what I would do is I would look at your past, right? So we had a recession before, so I would probably look back on when we had our crash in 07, 08, 09, and say how did you go through that crash?
Yeah.
You know, like how did you deal with that, and how bad did your business go down during that time? That would be maybe the question I'd start asking right now to people because that's what's going to, determine, probably give you a little bit better insight what might happen if we have a downturn again.
Right. Absolutely. Great question. The next one is from Sanjay, Boston, Massachusetts. Favorite way to follow us is Instagram. How do you grow followers on social media? Okay. Question. I am marketing my business on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. None of my social media pages has many followers, and none of my YouTube videos has any views. How do you make something go viral and get lots of followers online?
Sanjay, do you have a bathing suit?
Throw it on.
Throw it on. You get lots of followers. You know, it's hard. It's consistency. Yeah. It's all about like interacting with other people, right?
Yeah.
So if you really want to do it and you want to spend some time on it and do it and do it the most effective way and be very successful in it, you will interact with other people out there and then eventually your base will grow because they start following you. They like what you're doing. Other people like what you're doing. And putting out good content constantly, like constantly putting out stuff, right? If you do it daily, you're putting something out daily on everything. I mean, that's the ultimate way. There's no really easy, quick way. And people want some viral video. I mean, that's really something that just doesn't happen unless it's a really great video or it's very unique or something, and then all of a sudden it just takes off and you got lucky on it, right? I mean, or you're super outspoken about something and controversial, and that always helps too.
Controversy is always a good thing if you're willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, all that social media building is hard. And you can, pay to try to like build it, by getting it out there, and people just start, organically start, clicking on the following you and everything. But there's not going to be an easy way. It's a lot of hard work. You just got to keep doing it. And keep trying things.
I think that good content and consistency, that's been the key for us. Yeah. And I like what you said, Aaron, getting the other viewers or followers involved, You no one knows who you are, right? You're not getting any followers, so why don't you go onto those people's Instagram, Facebook, and reach out to them and make comments on their stuff, and not like, wow, cool, really acknowledge that you've listened to what content they've put out, so that they'll be like, whoa, Sanjay gave me a good compliment. I'm going to want to follow him.
Or
so
question, just kind of
so good interaction. Interaction is good. And I like too on Instagram and Facebook now are the stories, right? Stories are great, so people can kind of see what you do during the day. Yeah. Also asking questions during those stories. So Aaron, you're good at that. My wife got a new outfit, or she's doing a new presentation today, and he might like video me, and you're gonna say, do you like her presentation or her outfit? Yes or no? Yeah. And that's a great way to get people engaged in you.
But I mean, you know why a lot of the top social media people out there are like young kids? Because they have a lot of time.
Yes.
And so
it is definitely time
consuming.
consuming.
And you're trying to make money. I mean, you're gonna sit there and try to build this social media account. And it's going to take a lot of extra time.
It does.
It's hard to commit to that. But it's kind of the way that a lot of people are doing it. It's not the only way. And I don't believe that you have to do it to be
Right.
successful, but I think it's a big
a big
arena,
part. Yep.
and you can reach a lot of people by doing it.
Absolutely. And yes, it is work. It is work. Everything's work, you guys. You know, it takes work to get success. So
I'm
it's
tired
just
doing
the
this
way it
radio
is.
station.
We love you guys. Okay, so the next one is from Landon in Atlanta, Georgia. Favorite way to follow is Facebook. I'm hoping to grow my company to the next level, and I need $2 million to make this happen. I'm looking for investors who are willing to invest in my company. Where should I go to get investors?
Man, that's a hard question
It is
for
a
me
hard
because I don't
question.
really work with a lot of investors, you know, like I don't work with venture capital people. I don't really know that whole process. So I'm not going to be good to answer that, you know, that part of it, but I would say, you know, I've gotten money out there, you know, from people, and I've had investors and things like that, and it's usually by your actions speak louder than words, right? And so what are you doing out there? What are you successful at that somebody would say, oh yeah, I want to put my money, you know, in
That
this
they would
person.
trust
They
to
trust
want
you.
it.
I mean, it's a lot of, you know,
it's
I
a
mean,
lot of money.
everybody wants some money from
Yeah,
somebody. I mean,
I want $2 million too.
yeah, I mean, but you know, is your business first, you know, worth putting that $2 million
Right.
in? And do you have a good plan? Because if you don't have a good plan to show any one of these investors that you're looking at or you're talking to,
Right.
they're going to just laugh you out the door. I mean, they're going to say, okay, you want $2 million. Why?
Right.
And if it's, well, I just think, you know, I want to totally repaint my building, and, you know, like you have some dumb plan, they're going to be like, okay, well, that's a waste of money.
Right.
Or if you say, you know what, I got this, right now I'm producing, you know, it's $2 million, so they're probably maybe even in manufacturing, it could produce something faster, right?
And they want a return on their investment. People
Yeah.
aren't going to invest just because they like you,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
They want a return, so you've got to put that plan into place as well.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you all for listening to the Lifestyle Business Owner Show, where we talk about the street smarts of small business. If you've missed any of our show, make sure you go to lboradio.com and you can listen to it anytime, anywhere. I wanted to thank our guest again, Mike Mercer. He was fantastic. If you want to reach out to him and get his new pouches, go to navapouch.com. That's N-A-V-A pouch.com. Make sure you send your questions to Ask Aaron at LBO Radio. And also make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Lifestyle Business Owner. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week.